SMU was one of the best teams in college football.
Look out!
And they would play the best of the best and beat them all.
Touchdown, SMU!
They were Miami Vice in a Miami Vice era. Everything was over the top.
The illegal payoff to players.
We laugh about it. We were NIL before NIL.
Everybody was doing it. But they made an example out of SMU.
The harshest penalty ever handed out.
The program would be considered to be terminated.
For 30 years. This program was dead and buried.
And then everything changed in college sports.
Athletes can get paid from outside organizations.
The stuff that cost SMU is now the stuff that benefits SMU.
We thought, let's get a dozen or so successful business people, and let's start to figure this out.
Conference realignment is sweeping college football right now.
We're finally back where we belong.
SMU has sent a message that they want to be at the highest level of football.
It's one of the greatest comeback stories we've ever seen.
SMU wins!
Timing's big in life, and sometimes things just line up.
The Pony's one of the great stories in college football.
I've been connected to SMU for over 5 decades, and there has not been a time where there's greater excitement.
How do you stop this Mustangs offense when they're playing like this?
You can feel it. You walk into Moody Coliseum during one of our games, it's totally different.
We have a lot of high achievers now here at SMU, and high achievers want to be great and have big visions.
SMU's new director of athletics, Damon Evans.
We want to be the bar. Some people like living here. At SMU, we want to be here.
SMU just announced its new president. Jay Hartzell's currently president at the University of Texas.
We're working to try to elevate and raise the excellence, if you will, of the entire university. The athletic enterprise is fueling interest in the student body. SMU is a university that really has a lot of positive momentum.
Incoming applications were up 56%.
I've never met an alumni base that loves their school more than SMU. They stick together and they just want to make this place great.
Because of NIL, because of the money, and because of all the new rules of engagement in college sports, you have a program like SMU that's now on the rise.
This is kind of like a little oasis in the middle of Dallas. Everything's pristine. There's not a hedge out of place, not a stick out of place on the grass. We're talking about one of the wealthiest zip codes in the country. This is generational money.
And Dallas is as big as it gets. If you are looking at sports and business and kind of a crossroads where they meet, you got Jerry Jones, you got Mark Cuban, you got George Bush was a former owner of the Texas Rangers. I don't know if anybody does it bigger than Dallas.
Let's go, Cowboys!
People in Dallas love their sports. Look how they rally behind the Cowboys. Look at how they rally behind the Mavericks. This town loves a winner. And they don't tolerate a loser, but they love a winner. And SMU has a rich athletic history.
From the Cotton Bowl in Dallas before a sellout crowd, SMU lays a perfect conference record on the line against that TCU team.
SMU football really has a very deep tradition. Going back to the 30s and 40s, it was one of the best teams in the country.
I mean, Doak Walker played at SMU. The Cotton Bowl was called the house that Doak built.
It's Doak Walker of Southern Methodist.
They win the national championship in 1935. Doak Walker wins the Heisman Trophy in 1948.
They had superstar players. We're talking about Kyle Rote, Don Meredith.
And then you had the pioneers like the Jerry Leviases, who was the first black football player on scholarship in the Southwest Conference.
Jerry Levias, the All-American put in.
But SMU has a rich basketball history as well.
Holman feeds it underneath. Banger! SMU win! SMU win!
We've had conference championships and a Final Four appearance in 1956.
And we did not have the Dallas Texans. We didn't have the Cowboys. So everybody put their energies into SMU athletics.
But in football, the 50s and the 60s and 70s really up and down. They're suddenly at a lower tier of college football than they were in a conference that had some of the best teams in the country.
For the greatest games, you just can't top the electrifying Southwest Conference.
How we look at the SEC today is reminiscent of what the Southwest Conference was. It's big money donors, it's over-the-top ridiculous fans, Every single game is life and death.
Welcome to the game of the year.
It was a lot of the big state schools. It was Arkansas, it was Texas, Texas A&M. It was like a melting pot of just the most rabid fan bases, and it was so regionalized to Texas within such a tight area.
In the 70s, the best high school football players were all concentrated in the state of Texas.
Here's the Oklahoma backfield.
And Oklahoma's teams were mostly Texas guys. Arkansas would do all they could to have Texas guys. And so the Southwest Conference schools had a built-in advantage. But SMU is at a disadvantage. They're the small private school playing against the biggest brands there are. And so clearly at some point somebody said, we're tired of getting our face kicked in. We're right around all these really good high school players, but we can't get them to come here. They found the answer.
Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer. I mean, I'm telling you, man, he was the best salesman ever.
We're going to turn it around and create a winning image, a positive image. We're going to have enthusiastic football, and we're going to get the job done.
He was one of the first coaches that said, I don't care about the old guard. I know what my strengths are and what my program strengths are. And by God, we're going to flaunt it.
Recruiting is very competitive in the state of Texas, and it should be, because this state has tremendous talent.
I never even heard of SMU when they recruited me. They were irrelevant. With Ron Meyer, I will never forget when he came to my house, you know, he just had that swag about him, you know, the gold watch, the Super Bowl ring from the Cowboys. I mean, he was just cool.
That Doak Walker tradition in Colorado was way before my time, and so I had to go remind myself that SMU used to be good. And then Ron Meyer went and visited kids, and he convinced guys like Eric and me, come to Dallas. Dallas is a good spot to be.
Eric made a verbal commitment to Texas A&M, but then changed his mind about a week before the signing date. Eric was planning to sign with SMU.
They had a pretty clear plan, is we're going to get the best high school football players around this area, and if you do that, you're going to win.
James was convinced SMU was for him, so the next night he made it official and signed his letter of intent.
One of the memories I have that I'll never forget, I remember being in my driveway. I am listening to the radio, and they say, hey, something to the effect that we got breaking news. Eric Dickerson has committed to SMU. I'll never forget running around screaming, we got Dickerson, we got Dickerson, we got Dickerson. And that was the start for SMU turning this program around. And now you can compete with those schools like University of Texas.
The Longhorns of Texas come out of the tunnel.
For years, Texas were the team to beat, and SMU hadn't beaten them in a decade, it seemed.
Texas, I can't wear orange. I hate them so much.
Texas thought it was their God-given right to win the Southwest Conference every year, that it was ordained.
My freshman year, they killed us. 30-6, they killed us. I'm like, oh, hell no. So the next year, we go down and we play them in Austin.
Texas are number 2 in the country. We're in the locker room. Our center at the time takes a plastic helmet with a UT logo on it, smashes it in his hand, and he said, let's go beat them. And we flew out of that locker room. And that was the day that started up the Pony Express.
Lance McElhaney, number 11, the man to watch, will be at quarterback.
Lance McElhaney was very important to that equation. I mean, we call him the magic man because, let me tell you something, Lance could get that ball out so quick, man.
McElhaney slides, pitches it out. James has got it. He's in the 0-1. James will go all the way. It'll be a touchdown for SMU.
He was just aggressive and he was confident.
McElhaney to the 20, down to the 15-yard line.
And that confidence spilled over with us.
Craig James, the marvelous running back.
We had a lot of guys moving parts in all positions, offensively and defensively.
Comes to the near side, pass intercepted on the 20, to the 15, to the 10, and in for a score.
It was a good time to be at SMU.
You know, I'll never forget when I walked in the locker room, a lot of old alumni were walking in on walkers and wheelchairs. They were crying. I've just been waiting 20 years for this day. I'll never forget it. I said, man, I hope that's not us one day.
And all of a sudden, overnight, SMU beats Texas in Austin in 1980, and then we're on a roll.
Pitch out, Dickerson.
everybody knew SMU. You know, they had Craig James and Eric Dickerson and, you know, McElhaney. I mean, they had a great team.
Craig James, touchdown, SMU.
We had one of the dirtiest, I call them dirtiest, defenses in college football. A lot of NFL players, Wes Hopkins, Blaine Smith, Harvey Armstrong, Russell Carter. We were the team. We were the team to beat.
Look out, gonna have to catch it. Touchdown, SMU.
We were at SMU when it was at its peak. Drinking age was 18. And then you had fraternity sorority row. You're in Dallas, Texas. And SMU football was just clicking, and it was magical.
McElhaney on the option play will pitch. Oh, look at James. Goodbye.
We were playing at Texas Stadium. I mean, we'd go there and we would sell it out.
It is a home game for SMU, ranked number 2 in the nation.
It's rare that you'd have anybody as big and popular as the Cowboys, but SMU found their way there.
And the pitch outside to Dickerson. Look out. Touchdown.
And they would play the best of the best and beat them all.
They win some Southwest Conference championships, they claim a share of a national championship, and they're just winning and winning and winning. And everybody else in the Southwest Conference was not loving it a bit, because this was this tiny school that was beating Texas and A&M and these big state schools that had dominated for so long. How did they get those players? How did SMU become one of the best teams in the country? It didn't help that SMU was pretty brazen and open about what they were doing.
They were Miami Vice in a Miami Vice era, right? Everything was over the top. Everyone was handing out the money and buying cocktails. It was wild.
We laugh about it. We were NIL before NIL, but everyone knew what was going on. What we were doing at SMU was being done all around the nation.
Everybody was doing it. It was no secret that they were doing it, but they came after us because we were the small kid on the block, and you're not supposed to be that good. Ron told me this years later. He said, Eric, you didn't know NCAA was at the university Monday morning investigating us because we beat Texas. That's how they were.
It really is hard to describe how Wild West the Southwest Conference was. 7 different schools were on probation for NCAA violations in either football or men's basketball. There's only 9 teams in the conference.
Channel 8 News has learned that the NCAA is conducting a preliminary investigation into football recruiting practices.
This is what everybody was doing, and SMU decided we're going to do it better. They were put on probation, 4 or 5 times?
Illegal payoff to players.
It didn't stop because they were winning.
13 SMU players received over $60,000 from a booster fund.
They were already in trouble, already on probation, and then they got caught again.
The SMU football program could be subject to further sanctions, possibly including the NCAA's so-called death penalty.
I don't know if anybody really thought the NCAA would pull the trigger and go that far.
I don't believe that will happen to us. I mean, damn, things have been going so bad for us, they really can't get a whole lot worse.
Nobody really thought it was possible until it happened.
The university will be prohibited from participating in any football game or scrimmage with outside competition in 1987. The program would be considered to be terminated.
I hate the NCAA just like I hate the University of Texas. I think they're a bunch of pimps. They're the pimps and the players are the whores, basically. They pimped these kids for so long, all of us, and they made an example out of SMU. That's what they did.
The Mustangs won't play football this year. It's the harshest penalty ever handed out.
They would have never did to Texas. They never did to Notre Dame, USC, Ohio State, those big schools. But a small school, they made an example of.
Everybody's just in shock right now. Everybody's walking around in a daze.
I think everybody was just absolutely dumbfounded. I know I was. I was tired of the reporters, and it's such a toxic environment.
I'm tired of being called a crook, and I'm tired of you people sticking cameras in my face, and that's all I got to say, man.
The death penalty didn't just destroy an athletic program, it brought the whole university to its knees. The president of the university, and I think 40 out of 42 trustees resigned. The applications for enrollment plummeted. Who in their right mind would write a check, make a big donation to a university that is in the midst of that kind of disarray?
It was like a cloud moved over the university, and that cloud didn't depart for a very long time.
Barry Switzer said at the time it would probably cripple SMU for a decade. He was wrong. He was way short. It was like 2 or 3 decades.
For the first time since the death penalty, the Mustangs were returning to life with only 41 players on scholarship.
SMU comes back, but it was going to take a while. You had to completely rebuild the program from nothing.
The way the school reacted, they made it even worse. The penalty was 1 year. SMU elected to take the second year off, which I think was a huge mistake.
And there was a really big shift to high academic standards. You had to be admitted as a student before you could really be even considered to play football.
So how many football players would that eliminate? Admission officials estimate between 40 and 50% of the team.
They had it rough. They didn't have scholarships. They didn't have buy-in from administration. They were probably the worst team in the country.
And here come the 1989 Mustangs.
I'm really excited about having football back because I really want to cheer for my team.
So we might lose, get our butts kicked every week, but still, hey, still excited about it.
We look like not even a high school team. We look like an elementary team. You cannot have guys playing against guys that look like NFL players playing against, they look like kids. It's not gonna work.
Look at the protection. Into the end zone and a great catch.
Hated to see those young kids go out there and get beat 50-0.
Tony pitches it to Waters. Waters turns the corner this time, still on his feet. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Like that Houston beat them 95-21. I mean, you think that's fun for those kids? That was embarrassing.
That was painful to watch. I was at every one of those games. It was not a fun time.
We played Baylor. We went on the field watching them warm up. I'm like, we're gonna get crushed.
Boy, that's a hit.
And we kept seeing it over and over again.
SMU gets hit with a double whammy. You get the death penalty, and it's going to take years to build that back. But then in the mid-1990s, the Southwest Conference dissolves.
It's the beginning of the end for the Southwest Conference.
The Big 8 has invited 4 schools to join up, and the Big 8 would become the Big 12.
For SMU not to be included in the Big 12 was just disastrous for us.
The 4 outcast schools wait and watch, with little control over their own fate.
It took a while to kind of get over the shock to where you could get to working, okay, how do we go about reestablishing ourselves?
You never knew from year to year what conference we're in, who we're playing. I mean, we were lost in the desert.
People forgot what the heritage of SMU was, what it needed to be, what our past was.
I was one of the people that said, look, if you're not gonna get serious about football, get rid of it.
They're not going to stop that one. 4 touchdown passes for Graham Harrell.
1-10, 1-11, 2-9. You know, no games won. You think anybody come to the game? Absolutely not. Who wants to see that? Nobody wants to see that.
There's nobody at the games, you know. People wouldn't come in from the boulevard, you know. It's a very nice tailgating area, and people decided, you know what the heck, let's just stay out here. So they did.
Honestly, I didn't think about SMU. I probably didn't say the word Southern Methodist University or SMU for 30 years. This program was dead and buried.
It's a big day in the history of Texas Christian University. Today, our Board of Trustees has accepted an invitation to join the Big 12 Athletic Conference.
The biggest bombshell for me was when TCU was invited to join the Big 12.
The little brother school gets ahead of you and goes into a power conference well before us. It was terrible.
Now, SMU's got to do something big, or they're going to toil in obscurity in the heart of Dallas forever.
Larry Brown is going to school, SMU. He's the only coach in history to win an NBA title and an NCAA championship.
The second that SMU hired Larry Brown, there was not only hope, there was an expectation that we're going to be good, and this is going to be fun.
My vision is that we're going to be the best.
Against Gary Clark, hands it, Nick Moore, three-pointer, got it!
They weren't coming to the football games, but they were going to the basketball games.
SMU's raucous student section called the mob because Larry Brown's the godfather.
He always had stars around the program. Tony Romo, Allen Iverson, the British Prime Minister coming to join George Bush courtside.
You can do this in basketball in 2 years, sell the place out. I mean, if we can get football going, we can do the same thing.
We had, in essence, a blueprint for football, and getting Sonny Dykes to come here was a significant step up.
The next head coach at SMU, Sonny Dykes.
That's when SMU starts getting the momentum. You're winning 8-9 games again. You're on College game day. Then in the summer of 2021, Texas and Oklahoma changed the course of college sports history.
Texas and Oklahoma have reached out to the SEC about joining the conference, what could be a major shift in college football.
The Big 12 is suddenly not sure what it's going to do.
Does the Big 12 dissolve as many think it will?
The Pac-12 considers adding some Big 12 schools, decides not to. So the Big 12 decides we need to backfill.
Get ready, this is going to be crazier.
We were thinking, all right, this is our chance. The Big 12 is going to need new teams.
I had several meetings with Brett Yormark as head of the Big 12. His early reaction to SMU was highly, highly favorable. This is before he got the pushback from some of our competitors. And so UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU are invited to join the Big 12. And we get left behind. It was painful.
The Big 12 schools around here did not want to have to compete with us. As one of the presidents told me, it was just a business deal. You know, you didn't want to fund one of your competitors.
Through each decade, it just seems like every turn, they're used to kind of getting kicked to the curb, being left out. It's almost like, you know, waving the white flag to a certain degree.
And then at the end of the 2021 season, Sonny Dykes leaves. And he doesn't just leave. He leaves for TCU, the crosstown rival of SMU.
We just lost a great coach. And what are we doing? How are we going to continue this ascendancy?
That galvanized our community to say, okay, we got to get this done.
Boosters were pissed, motivated, and as SMU has shown throughout its history, that's a dangerous combination.
The Mustangs are hiring Miami offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley to take over the program. Lashley was offensive coordinator under Dykes at SMU for 2 seasons.
When Bill Armstrong and David Miller, and they're saying, look, we're going to go all in on making a push to get in a power conference. We're going to do everything we can to raise money to get a facility.
They're going to build a $65 million training complex, new locker room, new weight room.
We need to go win. That's all I needed to hear.
Rhett Lashley, coming from Miami, he's able to bring a bunch of Miami players with him, guys who wanted some more playing time. And that's right as the period when NIL happens. The timing turned out to be perfect.
A game changer, really, for student athletes. The league's board of directors clearing the way for them to make money from endorsements and other ventures.
NIL is the best thing that could have happened to you. The stuff that used to cost SMU is now the stuff that benefits SMU.
Allowing them to earn money on lucrative endorsements, personal appearances, even autograph signings.
It was almost like the shackles came off of us. I mean, I think everybody's eyes lit up and started rubbing your hands together, saying, all right, we can play this game.
You sure you can handle all this horsepower? This isn't the 80s anymore.
It's almost like early 80s, late 70s all over again when they're an afterthought. And so I think, again, they got mad and said, screw this, watch what we'll do.
What's my smoke?
Now that athletes can get paid from outside organizations, here in Dallas, there's a new collective that's focused on athletes who attend SMU.
Donors start to group together and become what's called collectives, where they can funnel deals to players through signings or appearances and all these things for lots of money.
The Boulevard Collective. It's paying athletes $3.5 million annually. It is so much money.
The thing that destroyed SMU was about money. So it's ironic that now that same thing, money, is enabling SMU to get back into it, well, because it's legal.
Our idea was to build the gold standard of NIL collectives that our donor base could trust in and rely on, that we were going to do it the right way. And so we're going to play by the rules, but we're going to win.
We're in the best market in the country. We can get the best players to want to come here. Get on my back. We're doing this.
Same pony.
New Express.
SMU had the NIL, they had the transfer portal rolling, they had facilities, they got Rhett Lashley. Things were looking up, but none of it mattered if they didn't get that Power 5 conference.
More college football realignment. USC and UCLA are bolting from the Pac-12 and headed to the Big Ten beginning in 2024.
I'm actually playing golf somewhere. I'm talking to my agent. I said, that's impossible. That's not going to happen. I mean, that can't work. An hour later, he called me back and said, it's done. They're gone.
And that creates another realignment explosion. Conferences start scrambling. Schools are looking out for themselves.
You better get on board, because if you're not going to get on board, you're going to be left behind.
We just got passed over by the Big 12. We knew we weren't going to the SEC. We knew we weren't going to the Big 10. So that left the ACC and the Pac-12.
So SMU starts to kind of formulate this plan. How can we get an invitation?
My feeling was, let's get a dozen or so successful business people that had achieved a lot of great things, and let's start to figure this out. We created a subset of the board called the Power Conference Task Force. And we decided we need media expertise, and Dean Jordan was a point person for us.
Was I confident it was going to work when we first started? No.
And that's what led us to hire a guy named Oliver Luck. And we start talking about strategy.
If you're trying to become relevant again in a bigger conference, I don't know if there's anybody better than Oliver Luck to kind of steer you in the right direction.
Oliver Luck is helping them form this strategy. Here's the best way to talk to this person. Here's when they're available. Here's the best way to contact them.
President Gerald Turner would be responsible for interacting with the university presidents, and Rick Carter, AD, would work with the athletic directors. We had to get in a room with people and try to help them look past the death penalty. Here's what SMU can become.
There was no limits. If David had to jump on a plane and fly across country, that's what he did.
Conference realignment is sweeping college football right now.
It was dozens and dozens of airplane trips to university presidents, to athletic directors, to people who understood conference politics.
Without David, none of this would have happened. He had the ability to travel and make the connections that were necessary. He did it because he loves his alma mater. He loves SMU.
He was relentless. I'm not sure there's a person with any athletic relevance at a university in this country that he didn't meet with.
It was over and over and over.
Oh, God. It seemed like that plane was always moving. Always moving.
Do they join the Pac-12? Do they join the ACC?
I'm in the oil business, and I drill wildcat wells for a living, and this just felt like a wildcat.
In college football right now, nothing is implausible.
You're up, you're down, you're going to win, you're going to lose. It was just going absolutely bonkers.
Absolutely everything is different now.
But then it became very clear that the Pac-12 was going to invite SMU to the conference.
I talked to George Kliavkoff, and he said, my next phone call is going to be to SMU to invite you guys to join the Pac-12. But that never happened.
Then we hear that CU is going to the Big 12, and the Pac-12 just implodes.
I don't care what conference, we're trying to win. All this is about money, you know that. It's about a bag. Everybody's chasing a bag.
3 more Pac-12 schools are leaving, heading to the Big 12.
We're going here, we're going to get an invite here to, wait, that league's not even in existence anymore.
They basically ceased to exist. They're now the Pac-4.
And then we're wondering what's going to happen with the ACC. Are they going to expand?
This has just been the craziest offseason as far as realignment that I've ever seen.
SMU's got one option left. It's the ACC.
Gerald Turner, the president of the university, said if we were ever so fortunate as to have a choice, it would be the ACC.
Academic quality is always one of our major goals. So the ACC was where we always wanted to be.
The ACC has been the dominant basketball conference in the country that has a great history, and it started to make some waves in football. So it makes perfect sense.
But you need to get 12 votes out of the 15 to get in. The initial straw poll was 11.
There was 4 schools that were pretty adamantly against this, and that was Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and NC State. So you had to flip a vote somewhere.
It was do or die. I mean, this was the one chance. We couldn't be left out now.
We're 1 vote short. And we have a phone call with the board chair of North Carolina State. I said, well, are you aware of the proposal that we've made to the conference? Immediately after telling him, he said, that's a head turner.
We have breaking news in college sports with the ACC presidents and chancellors voting this morning to add 3 new schools, Stanford, Cal, and SMU.
Southern Methodist University is making the leap to the Atlantic Coast Conference.
You now have the ACC footprint in the state of Texas.
SMU's going to the ACC. It is a real thing.
My kids are at the kitchen counter eating breakfast. I get a text message from David Miller that says we're in with like 10 exclamation points.
Turned out, it was NC State that flipped.
SMU will not receive any television revenue for the next 9 years, an apparent move to appease current ACC members.
Sitting down with David Miller and Oliver Luck, Gerald Turner and Rick Hart, and what they were willing to do to be in the ACC. It's hard to say no to those guys. They do things big in that state, which they like to remind me of all the time.
We're finally back where we belong.
SMU raised $100 million to help its transition to the ACC. They got this money in 7 days.
Only thing they were leaving behind was the $7 or $8 million a year they were making in the American Athletic Conference. So that's not a lot to make up.
I've seen what it costs to go to SMU for a year. They don't need the money. They're not hurting for it.
There's that brief sense of achievement, and then you immediately move to, now we've got to go do something about this.
We felt the pressure of, we need to prove that we didn't just get in for other reasons. We got in because we got a dang good football team, and we're building a really good football program.
We had a great team. It was awesome.
A lot of pressure. The ball's batted in the air. It's going to be intercepted for SMU. Coming left one, Kobe into the 10. Touchdown!
And they get their quarterback settled down in Preston Stone.
Stone looking, thrown, and caught.
Preston Stone looked like a star.
Going to slide down to his left, throwing into the end zone, coming back for it. O.J. Maryland, touchdown, SMU!
We were on a roll, we were winning, and then we lose our quarterback.
Stone, a nifty spin move, and perhaps too crafty for his own good.
No, Preston Stone's down now.
And all of a sudden, a hush here on the hilltop, and Stone clearly in pain.
This is the last thing that SMU wanted.
SMU, in its final year in the AAC, will make its first appearance in the championship tilts.
Preston Stone had broken his leg the game before the championship game.
But we've got this guy over here that has a ton of talent named Kevin Jennings.
And so that was Kevin's first start. There was a lot of things that went wrong.
Play action on first down, strip from behind. Here comes the green wave.
We haven't won a championship in 40 years.
Awkward snap, Jennings corrals it, firing towards the end zone and picked off.
So we felt the urgency of, we need to break through and win this championship. We need to get that monkey off our back and prove we belong at this level.
Kevin to throw, they blitz, he unloads this one, left side, and what a catch! Pratt throws near side, and it's intercepted! Isaiah Wachovia picks it off!
It was just something out of a storybook.
For the first time since 1984, SMU Conference champions.
We finished the season ranked in the top 25 for the first time in like 40 years. So we're going into the ACC as a championship team.
They're finally invited to a power conference. How will they do against the Florida States, the Clemsons, the Miamis, all the big teams in that conference? There was a lot of intrigue to see how they could make that jump.
SMU will start their inaugural campaign in the ACC. Until you're dealing with that grind week in, week out, the ACC is a hell of a lot different.
Nobody on a national scope really thought about SMU in the ACC before the season started. Not bad. Than the teams in the ACC. I don't think they were worried about it.
Felt disrespected, and I think that we felt that we have something to prove. That's the secret sauce. I think we have a chip on our shoulder. A lot of other universities can claim to have a chip on their shoulder, but they haven't gone through what SMU has gone through.
They were coming off a conference championship. They were bringing most of their talent back. They were pretty good on defense, and we knew they had a good quarterback situation, whichever one they went with. I thought they would surprise people. But the season didn't start off great.
Into Reno and into the ACC, SMU and Preston Stone.
Yeah, the Nevada game was a little, a little ugly.
Stone with time up the middle, and it's picked. Wow!
Talk about what can go wrong, did go wrong.
And a snap gets over the head of Pearson.
We were like, what is going on?
And Nevada scores first. Lewis throws end zone. Caught! Touchdown! This is stunning.
We needed to see, can we get punched in the mouth and can we respond to adversity?
24-13 with a quarter to play.
It was a dogfight, and that's really what we had needed at that time.
Has some pressure coming. Lobs this one down the right side. R.J. Maryland in Nevada territory at the 41-yard line.
We needed our defense to say, okay, we got to get a stop on this possession.
They have him in the end zone. I think it's going to be a safety. Safety Mustangs.
Coach Lashley, he always gives the great calls, and so I just look over, see the signal, and I run that go route.
Stone to throw. Does. Down the left side, and R.J. Maryland! Touchdown!
I mean, that was a huge game for us. I mean, we lose that game, it's a whole different season.
SMU is going to escape, and I mean escape, Reno with a Week 0 win.
Week 2 against Houston Christian, we went out there and we took care of business. But we knew that the next week against BYU would be a real challenge for us, and it was.
Preston Stone will start the game, but we will see the talented Kevin Jennings as well. Anywhere in the country, these two guys would be starting. They just happen to be on the campus of SMU.
Stone looking to launch. Devoured.
They blitzed our O-line and Preston almost every play.
He gets sacked again.
And it was really getting to him.
I asked Rhett Lashley who he's going to go with in the second half, and right away he said Kevin Jennings.
Another third down. Here's the blitz, the pressure. Jennings completes over the middle. First down.
The QB controversy can sink a team. And when you look at sort of the way that those early 3 games on the schedule played out,
BYU comes away with a hard-fought 3-point win in Big D.
The number one question Rhett Lashley has, who gives us the best chance to win these games?
Everybody good? When it comes to the quarterback situation, I think we've got a clear direction now on consistency. Kevin Jennings is going to be our starting quarterback.
It actually took a lot of courage because Preston Stone was a really popular quarterback.
Preston Stone was the biggest recruit in the history of the modern program. And to go to the relative unknown Kevin Jennings, who they flipped from Missouri State ahead of that big rivalry game with TCU against Sonny Dykes, the stakes couldn't have been higher. If it didn't work out, that would have been the end for a lot of people with Rhett Lashley.
They are fired up in Big D. Renewal of one of the great rivalries in all of college football. 103rd meeting.
Battle of the Iron Skillet is one of the biggest rivalries in college football.
It's pure hatred, you know. They don't like us, and we sure don't like them.
There was a lot of animosity. TCU saying that they wanted to back out the game and the rivalry and not want to continue it.
Crosstown rivalries, they're like 30 minutes away from us, and, it's gonna always be some trash talking during that game. We come out, the stadium was just packed.
TCU's coming in with Sonny Dykes, who's 3 years removed from leaving SMU, 2 years removed from taking TCU to the national championship game. SMU's reeling a bit. This feels like it could be a game that sends the season in a wrong direction.
This feels a little bit like a fork-in-the-road type of game.
We really needed to win with everything that was going on. When you make that quarterback change, at the back of everyone's mind is like, is he doing the right thing at quarterback or not? And personally, I really needed us to win that game.
It was like, okay, we really need to lock in and focus because we can't drop this game. And we smashed him in the mouth.
And they hand it off. And that ball is loose as Hoover took it. It is picked up. What a start to this game for SMU.
They dominate in every facet, special teams, offense, defense.
This is returnable from the 31-yard line. Nice couple of fakes and down the sideline. Touchdown SMU!
Turnovers, touchdowns, just absolutely kicking their teeth in.
Jennings rolls, throws, and it is a touchdown. What a throw by Jennings.
This is going to be our last time we get to play them. We want to make sure that we leave them with a real bad taste in their mouth about the last time they came to Dallas.
We're going to lob this one down the left side. It's intercepted! Ahmad Moses at the 45 up the sideline. He has blockers. He has a touchdown!
And then Sonny Dykes gets ejected from the game because he's upset about some calls.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on a TCU head coach. By rule, he is ejected from the game.
Probably his last time ever coaching in this stadium.
This is going to be a long walk back to that TCU locker room.
It could not have gone any better if you're an SMU fan.
The most points scored by either team in the history of this series.
I did beat TCU. I got the skillet. And TCU saying they wanted to schedule, I guess, tougher opponents. Well, they got 66 points put on them. So I think that's a pretty tough opponent.
Well, now we're in the big leagues, Power 4, week after week. Guess what? Florida State, the defending champs, are coming to town.
A sellout house here tonight at Gerald Ford Stadium.
The lights were bright, and there was a lot of attention for that game. We had President Bush there.
Former president is here tonight to administrate the coin toss.
So you automatically understand that this just isn't a regular conference matchup.
Look who they carted out tonight before their first ACC game.
The energy from the fans was different. The buzz around the city was just different.
Now we got a chance to play a major college football team. We will see how we do.
Let's see who's most physical up front tonight.
They're going to hand to Smith. He'll run right, and he scores.
We started running by some of their players with our athletes. I said, we got some players out there.
And the handoff to Roderick. Flea flicker, wide open. Jordan Hudson caught at the 10. Touchdown SMU!
I thought that was Kevin's coming out party because Kevin played really well that game.
Jennings wants to cut it loose, sailing for Smith, through traffic, makes the catch and holds on. Here's Jennings looking, corner Maryland, caught, touchdown.
This has been 2 straight weeks of outstanding football in all phases with this SMU program.
We beat them physically. We were better coached. I mean, that game set us up, and I think said, uh-oh, here they come.
Eric Dickerson came into our locker room after Florida State, said, "You guys don't understand how proud y'all made all of us."
This is a serious football team. Yes, sir. This is how it was when we played back in the 80s. I was that old man. I was an old man. I ain't cry. I didn't cry, but man, was I happy. I mean, I was so excited for it because we haven't seen that kind of excitement in years. Thank you guys for making us proud because we've been waiting 30 years for a day like this. And sure enough, lo and behold, here we are.
SMU had returned to the national spotlight, and as the season started to unfold, we just couldn't believe what was happening.
And there goes Jennings. Touchdown.
Bucci Dixon's gonna take it to the house on the first play of the game. Hold down, kick on its way, it's blocked! Unbelievable! He's looking into the end zone, no good! SMU wins!
This team could be a little bit dangerous. You know, in their first year, they may have a shot to get in the playoff.
Keyshawn Smith! Holy smokes, what a catch! Jennings slips one out of the end, run for Daniels, makes a man miss! His way to the pylon. Touchdown.
There's an atmosphere which is special to college football fans. SMU was void of that for 40 years. You go on the boulevard today before a game, and it's exciting.
SMU's back. Us seeing the city of Dallas embrace us, like that gave us so much more confidence each and every week.
And Jennings towards the goal line, in for the touchdown.
Felt like when Ron Meyer came to SMU and started recruiting and using Dallas as the backdrop, and it's happening again.
Harris over the middle, intercepted. Jonathan McGill.
It's like walking in and say, I got the prettiest girl in the room. You know, she's the prettiest one in here. Look at all you. We got the prettiest girl in here.
There's a strike and a touchdown to Resurgence Smith. And SMU to the ACC championship game in their first year in the conference.
It was kind of surreal. All these years since the death penalty, all the years since when I was at SMU when we had the Pony Express, I'm thinking, we're back. But I wasn't convinced that the country knew we were back until the conference championship game against Clemson.
It was a really weird build-up to that Clemson game because at this point, SMU is in the field to make the college football playoff. But if they lose, maybe they're not.
From Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the ACC championship game.
We go into that game against a team that's been there 8 out of the last 10 times. Our guys were fired up. Maybe a little too fired up. We had a really poor first quarter.
Under pressure, Jennings struck by T.J. Parker. Clemson says it has the ball, and the Tigers do.
They're making turnovers early on drives, and it's setting up these Clemson points.
Touchdown, Jake Brenningstool. Down the seam, Wesco breaks free and scores.
It was like the one thing you didn't want to have happen was to look like maybe you shouldn't necessarily be on the field with the team the caliber of Clemson.
We really felt like we had the better team. Yeah, we're down 24-7. It looks bad, like, we can beat these guys.
The way we play, the fact that it's 24-7 is a miracle. We got to regroup. They can do it in a half. We can do it in a half.
I was telling everyone in the locker room, we can't just blow the game away because now they're going to say SMU don't belong at all. I said, we go out and finish or fight. Whether we win this game or not, we can show them that we're here to play big-time football.
Kevin Jennings and the SMU Mustangs trying to get back in the game.
I remember telling the guys this could be the defining moment of our season, and our guys believed.
Jennings lobs this, looking for Hibner, and caught! Touchdown!
And then the fourth quarter, and we tie it.
Not much pressure. Jennings, side of the end zone! Touchdown! Roderick Daniels Jr.
But suddenly you're also thinking, wait, they might actually win this game.
It is good. And I have seen enough. This team belongs in the field of 12 in the college football playoff.
SMU might not only make the playoff, but win the ACC, get a first-round bye, all of these things that nobody could have ever dreamed of.
Nolan Hoosier on the left hash, 56 yards on the final play of regulation.
We didn't win the game. You know, credit them, they make a great field goal. But to me, that showed the grit, the resolve of that team and this program, is that we know how to compete. And I was probably as proud of them then as I ever have been.
All of a sudden, Clemson is in the playoff at this point. That means SMU or Alabama is going to be left out.
My thought is that SMU is going to end up on the outside.
SMU's out. And I really have zero sympathy. I do not care.
On paper, everything made sense that they should make the playoff. You don't feel fully confident that that's going to happen. And we have drama going into Sunday.
Judgment Day is here. Do the good deeds outweigh the sins?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. You have to a little bit put your fate in the hands of a committee. And, you know, feeling like your team earned it all year, but you just don't know when you put it in the hands of someone else, especially when you're going up against the likes of a program like Alabama for that last spot.
Are they going to choose the brand, or are they going to actually remember what they saw last night?
And I was sitting in bed, I was sweating, my palms are sweating.
You look at SMU, they make it to their conference championship game. They lose on the last-second field goal. They don't have any wins against anybody in the top 25.
My heart's beating. I feel like, it's Alabama. There's no way they put us in over Alabama.
They should have played their way into the championship by having to win in the ACC championship game.
Would the committee do what was right or what was easy?
One spot remaining. I think we pretty much know the two teams it comes down to.
I said, man, they probably gonna put Alabama in because they're Alabama. But I said, man, we deserve to be in that game.
And the final spot in the college football playoff, the SMU Mustangs.
And when they said SMU, man, I just jumped up. Oh, I was so excited, man. I really was.
I'm not gonna lie, I threw my phone and just started yelling.
I jumped out of bed, yelling. I probably got a noise complaint that day.
It validated the hard work. It validated we're back and we belong.
It was joyous. I mean, it was like, well, everything we've worked for has come true at some level.
Felt like the culmination of essentially 40 years of trying to get back. Hundreds of millions of dollars that everybody put in. The belief that the teams at the top of college football don't necessarily have to be the same teams forever.
It's one of the greatest comeback stories I think we've ever seen in college football. To go from a death penalty and to go for decades, they were just irrelevant. And to get to a point you're in the ACC and in your first year, you make it to the college football playoff, that's as good of a story as there is.
Here from State College, PA, 4 steps away from a potential championship.
The stadium's rocking, it's a whiteout. A lot of guys here on that SMU team probably had never played in football that cold before.
You're not in Dallas anymore. It feels like 12 degrees here at Nittany Lion Stadium.
You got everything going against you, and then you make a couple of killer mistakes, and it just snowballs from there.
Jennings looking to pass.
Over the picked off, and it's coming back. DeLuca, touchdown!
You're not even giving yourself a chance.
Touchdown, Penn State! And it's 27-0.
I think the lights were a little bright. There was a little bit of a learning curve there, but it still doesn't diminish the talent they had. And there's enough talent in that part of town that at some point, SMU is going to be there to kick the door in.
We didn't win the game, but we were one of 12 teams competing for a national championship. For almost 35 years, all we've heard about is SMU is known as the only school to ever get the death penalty. And that's a part of our history. But making the college football playoff in our first year in the ACC, it opens up a new chapter. You know, if we had the death penalty then, this is the resurrection.
When I've asked, like, all right, well, who's the school that is best positioned to take advantage of this new world? The vast majority start their list with SMU.
Nobody is going to overlook SMU football anymore. The talent floor has gone up.
You're in the ACC, you got a great coach with Rhett Lashley, with NIL, with the transfer portal. I don't know why they would go away.
SMU has everything they need in terms of money, facilities, and access to players all over Dallas. We've seen SMU be one of the best programs in the country. There's no reason it can't happen again.
It's not just football. The objective is to become a nationally recognized university. And athletics is just critical in terms of national landscape.
Look at basketball. We hire Andy Enfield, and the expectation for him is absolutely that he will build a nationally prominent basketball program.
We're very excited about the future of SMU basketball. It meant a lot to join such a storied conference as the ACC, so it's a perfect fit in a variety of ways.
Look at the ACC schools that are in basketball, and you're looking at UVA. You talk about Duke. You talk about North Carolina. We're now in big-time basketball again.
We tied for fourth our first year in the league. Great crowds, and you can just feel the emotion and the passion.
The mid-major schools all look at Gonzaga saying, why not us? And a school like SMU, they're thinking the same thing. Their fan base wants it. They're willing to pay for it and invest in it. Of course they can do it.
We talk a lot here about football and basketball, but one thing that I found here at SMU, our Olympic sports are simply incredible.
Our golf program and our tennis team and our swimming teams, we're competitive in every sport.
Men's soccer, we had women's volleyball game, a sellout crowd against Nebraska.
SMU with a program-defining win.
There's something here called Mustang momentum, and that is real, and we're not gonna let that go. We're in the ACC, we're happy to be here, but we're not content, because we're gonna keep driving, brother.
But athletics and academics go together. The better you are at one really only elevates the playing field for the university.
Our new president, Jay Hartzell.
Academically, athletically, our research enterprise. What you're seeing play out is how these things are all interrelated.
Part of what got my excitement about coming here and being the 11th president was seeing this opportunity, and athletics is embodying that trajectory that this university is on.
Being in the same league and the same meetings with people from those really exceptionally strong, great academic universities, it puts us in an academic club we also want to belong to.
We've seen a 60% uplift in applications year over year post entering the ACC. It's a validation that combining the athletic story with an already great academic story can further enhance the quality of the university.
Recruitment happens not just on athletic fields and not just with students. It happens with faculty, with deans, with other administrative leaders. People want to be here. They want to come here and teach. They want to be part of what's happening here.
Look at the Bush Library. Look at the Cox School of Business and the major improvements that have been made there. Look at the school's recent Carnegie R1 certification. The school is making equally great strides on the academic side as it is on the athletic side.
"17 years ago, I said, I'm going to start transforming the perspective about athletics at this university. We had a story that was pretty powerful. It just needed to be told.
It's the best time in the history of college football for a non-blue blood to have a chance to play at the highest level. And SMU has sent a message that they want to be at the highest level of football.
It gives you a sense of pride when you make it back up to the top. The view's always better the harder the climb is. And I think that SMU had a really hard climb. And now the view is all that much more sweeter.
And so that's our challenge now is how do we prove we have staying power? A sleeping giant has been awakened, but we've not achieved our ultimate goal yet in our football program, which is to win another national championship.